Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD Travelsthenix. I'm back with another quick video, and today's video is going to be a quick one. It's just going to be about, if you're a young man, you need to focus on getting a stable income and finding your own place to live. Now, before we get into the video, if you're interested in travel, fitness, overall growth content, life topics, health, all that stuff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. So let's get right into the topic. The topic of this video is that if you're a young man, graduated high school, is what I would probably say qualifies for this. Maybe even a little bit older than that. Maybe you went to college and went through that experience. Maybe you're like 22 years old. If you're a young man, 18 to 22, 23 years old, it's paramount that you establish an income for yourself and that you find a way to move out of your parents' house. Why do I say this? Because in order to grow in life, in order to mature and actually become a man, you have to be living on your own. You can't be considered a man when you're living under somebody else's roof. And this doesn't just go for living under your parents' roof. This could also go for living with a girlfriend. If you're living in your girlfriend's house, you're not a man because you're being kept and maintained by a woman, and that is something that you do not want. That's a mistake, major mistake that I made in my early 20s, is that I moved in with a woman in my early 20s and lived with her for like 5 years. And to be honest with you, I was doing a dirtbag move for the first year or so when I was living there because I wasn't paying no rent. And when you put yourself in that type of situation, the woman's not going to respect you, and to be honest with you, you don't respect yourself. So my advice for young men is, number one, start saving your money. Stop worrying about buying dumb-ass material items. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I was so into buying a bunch of bullshit fashion items. Michael Jordan tennis shoes or Sean John jeans and all these things that cost a whole bunch of money that didn't mean shit. And at the end of the day, they didn't help me get any more women than I was getting before. Because if I would have just focused more, I mean, I was in pretty decent shape when I was in my early 20s, but if I would have just focused on staying in shape and just wearing white tees and blue jeans, guarantee you I would have had just as many women as I would have if I was rocking Jordans and all the other crazy shit that I was wearing. But anyways, stop wasting your money on material bullshit. Stop eating out so much. You should be cooking for yourself and being healthy anyways. Save your money. I can't stress that enough. Save your money, stack your chips, get a stable income, start learning what you want to do as a purpose. And I think the best way to actually learn what you want to do for your purpose in life is to actually have that solitude of having your own living space. So you don't want to be living with your parents because your parents is going to be trying to influence you one way or the other. You don't want to be living up under your woman because your woman's going to be trying to influence you in one way or another. And, you know, they don't necessarily mean any harm with the stuff that they're trying to tell you to do with your life, but nobody can tell you what to do with your life. Nobody knows what's right for you better than you. So it's better that you figure out what you need to do with your life, and it's better that you figure out what makes you happy than having some other people tell you what they think is a good idea for a direction that you go in life. And like I said, that's a huge mistake that I made in my 20s. I think I lived with a woman throughout my 20s. I think I lived with my first girlfriend, and then I went from her, and I ended up moving to Japan, and I ended up living with another girlfriend. And it was just got to a point where I just felt claustrophobic because I just didn't have any space. Because believe me, when you're living with these women, they're not going to give you any space and free time. They don't want to give you any space and free time. They too worried about you going and messing with another woman, not realizing, well, for me, they was worried about that because they actually did have to worry about that, because that's basically all I was doing, was living with them, messing with my girlfriends, and then I had a whole bunch of side pieces throughout my whole 20s. I mean, which is what it is. It ain't necessarily anything too wrong with, you know, playing the field, but I shouldn't have been doing it when I had a girlfriend. But like I said, if I would have had my own space, I wouldn't have had to play the field when I had my own girlfriend, because my mentality was, at first, when I was living with my first girlfriend, that number one, I wasn't paying any rent, so I'm living rent free. I'm kicking it, you know what I mean? I get to buy all the shit that I want to do, kick it, smoke weed, drink, you know what I mean? Have Jordans, buy gold chains, whatever the hell I was doing with my money, a bunch of dumb shit. going out on the weekends, going and kicking it with my friends at the bars and at the clubs. A bunch of stupid shit that didn't get me anywhere. So try to minimize all that shit. It's fun to do a little bit of that shit, and I probably actually even recommend that you do a little bit of playing around. You know what I mean? And if you have certain material items that you might want to get, you know, it's nothing wrong with treating yourself every once in a while. But at the forefront of your priorities, you need to make sure that you're stacking your money and keeping some money on the side for a rainy day, and also build your credit up so you can pass these background checks when you're going to get apartments, and make sure that you have enough money for first month's rent, last month's rent, and maybe even a couple months rents for a rainy day, because a real man knows that he has to have some stuff on the side for a rainy day, because, you know, you're not depending on somebody else to bail you out, because a lot of us don't come from a background where we actually could have somebody that can bail us out. And, you know, with that being said, these women aren't going to bail you out either. They want to get bailed out when they hit hard times, but they're not willing to bail you out when you hit hard times. Well, most of them aren't, because, you know, you could probably find you a couple of good women who will do that for you, but then you don't even really want to have people helping you out in that way anyways. Because I'll tell you another thing is that when you're living with a woman, you're going to feel like you owe them something. I remember I had a long-term relationship with this one chick, fine, black and Korean chick, and half black and half Korean, and I was living with her. And like I said, at first I wasn't even paying any rent, and then eventually I started helping out with the bills and everything. I didn't even have a car, you know what I'm saying? My car broke down, right? I didn't even have a car, so her mom gave me a car to drive around in. And this is how much of a dirtbag I was. I was running around in the car that her mom gave me to drive around in. I was running around taking other broads on dates. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Which is sick. You know what I mean? You don't ever want to put yourself in that position, because it doesn't do anything but make you feel guilty. Here these people are, they basically taking you in off the streets, and you going around taking advantage of the shit that they doing for you. Not saying that, you know, not saying that relationship was completely healthy anyways, because it was kind of a toxic relationship. But at the end of the day, I know damn well I was in the wrong for letting her mother give me a car, you know what I mean, to drive around, go to work in, and I'm taking other broads on dates in that car. So, man, you don't be a dirtbag. You know what I mean? Don't be like I was when I was in my early and mid 20s and late 20s. Shit. So, man, make sure that you have your own shit together so you don't feel like you owe anybody anything. Because I'll tell you one thing, when it came down to breaking up and breaking out of that relationship, I felt like I was indebted to my ex-girlfriend and her mother so much that it prevented me from breaking up with her for like 2 years. I was with her for like 5 years, and I wanted to break up with her after like 3 years, maybe even after 2 years. But I felt like I owed them so much that I couldn't just bail. You know what I mean? Here I am. I started off on this level when I got into the relationship, and I ended up actually was doing good for myself, because I was actually using the resources that I was provided, and I was actually working my way up and getting better jobs, which is a good thing. But I also was taking advantage of the situation that I was in too. And because they had helped me get from this level, working a bullshit job, to getting a decent job, then to getting an even better job, which I did on my own, but because I had the support system with that situation, I felt like it helped me out getting from one level to another. I felt guilty, and I felt like I owed them something. And if you do it all on your own and you play it the smart way and not waste your money on a bunch of bullshit and have your own space, then you don't necessarily need to feel guilty or like you're indebted to somebody else for your own success. Because at the end of the day, I was the ones who ended up getting myself a job, and at the end of the day, I ended up moving to Japan and creating a business that was even more prosperous than the jobs that I had when I was living in America, living in California. So again, I can't stress enough, if you're a young man, you have to get out of your parents' house. And you don't need to rush to get out of your parents' house. Make sure that you have a stable income. Make sure that you've saved some money, and then get out of your parents' house, have some solitude and some space, and then your mind can really get creative, and you can really figure out what you want to do with your life, and you can really figure out what your purpose is in life. And for me, I wish I would have done that in my early 20s, because I feel like I would have expedited a lot of the things that I'm doing right now, I felt like I would have been doing this in my early 20s, and I would have been way ahead of the game. And who knows where I would have been right now. But I can't complain too much because I'm not even old. I'm 35 years old, so I'm still a young man. And there's still a lot of room for me to grow. And some people, you know, they don't figure a lot of this stuff out till they get in their 40s, or maybe they never even figure it out. They go from living with their parents to living with their woman and living with another woman. The next thing you know, they done got married and they've never even had any time in their life where they lived alone. You do not ever want that to be you. Don't ever let that be you. You have to have some time in your life where you live alone. So make sure that you get your own spot if you're a young man, especially a young black man, because if you don't, then a lot of these people are going to be trying to take advantage of you and look at you like you're a stray dog and not a human being. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have anything you want to add to it, leave it in the comment section. If you guys like the video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up. But anyways, guys, hope everybody's having a great day. I'll holla at you guys later. Peace.